This is second tutorials in database management systems. In this tutorial we will explain you about what is database management system called DBMS, component of database environment, advantages of database, types of users in database management system. In the previous tutorial we very clearly had been seen that what is a database, what is data, what is information. In this tutorial we will explain some advanced concepts about database management system. So we will thoroughly study these concepts. So what is database, component, advantages, types of users. So let's move forward. So what is data? Database management system is a collection of programs that are used to create and maintain database. So database management system is general purpose software system that provide the following facilities. So it provides the define the structure of database. So in database management system we define that how the data is stored. We structurize the structure of database, the structure of data. So the user can specify data types, format and constraint for the data to be stored in database. So in database management system we define the structure of data, the type of data, constraint of data stored in the database. So it's all about related to the data. So it number second, it provides the facility to insert, delete and retrieve specific data to generate reports. So database management system delivers us to insert, delete and retrieve the data from the database because data is stored. So data is stored for specific operations. Like we want a list of students. So we retrieve the data. We want to insert, we want to add the student in the database. So it this facility provided by database management system. So database management is a software which help us to interact with the database. So it's all about the database management system. So component of database environment. So a DBMS, a DBMS is a collection of programs that are used to create and maintain database. So as we clearly seen, so DBMS is just a collection of programs that are used to create and maintain database. Number second, database. So database is organized collection of related data as we have discussed earlier. Third, data administrator. So it is a person who are responsible of whole responsible information systems always monitor. So this is a person who is responsible for database, who look after the whole data database, and it control the different parameters of database. So in database environment, this person is really very important. It have allowed the users to use the database, it block the user, it delete the specific permission towards the data for the specific user, it allow the people to interact with database, it block the people to do not interact with the database. So it's all about the responsibility of database administrator. So the fourth one is end user. It is a user who interact with the application directly. They are responsible to insert, delete and update the database. So end user is a person who just add, delete and the information or the data from the database. So the end user is controlled by data administrator. Data administrator allow permission to the end user to interact with database and perform some specific changes. So we have types of users in the database environment. So application programmer. Application programmer is a professional who writes computer program of high level language. These programs are used to interact with a database like DBMS. So DBMS is written by application programmer. So it really help us to interact with the database. So it have a vast knowledge of computer languages such as C++, SQL, Java. We have a a lot amount of languages. Number second was end user. End user are those who interact with the application directly. They are responsible to insert, delete, and update the data in the database. So they are not being aware about how the database works, how the data is processed. They are just being to insert, delete information, data from the database. So end user is also controlled by application programmer, because application programmer have made data DBMS system. We have advantages of database. So what are the advantages of database? Because we have also a file processing system in which we store the data, but in file processing system the data is stored separately, so it is really very difficult to manage the data. So database comes to resolve the issues of this. The irrelevant files are being saved, so it is really very difficult for us to maintain. So advantages of database management: compressed data redundancy. Compressed data redundancy means data is stored in such a way that it cannot be duplicated. So once we have stored, I have stored the information about the student, his roll number, his name, his father name, his department. So when I want to create the system for a library, so I've just used the entire information. So the reusement of data, not to repeat the data. So decrease updating errors and increase consistency. So because when I update the database, so it is updated throughout whenever the data is stored, rather than the file processing system. Excellent data integrity and independence from application program. So application program are those who do not make the data difficult for us, are making some kind of error creations. So the data is stored, and that data is independent from the application programs. And DBMS we have a lot of application program. So improve data access to user through the use of host and query language. So in query language we interact with database to delete, to insert, and retrieve the data, to search data. So in the coming tutorial we will explain you about what is a query language. So with the help of a database we can easily interact with the data stored in the database, and especially the user can easily interact. Improve data security, because the DBMS also secure the data, store the data. It's all check all the parameters and the constraint about the data. Reduce data entry, storage, and retrieve costs. So when in file processing system we use a lot of disks, tapes to store the data for separate people in the organization. So in database we buy one database and store all information about the organization. So it really help us to retrieval the costs. So it's all about the DBMS concepts. So in the coming tutorial we will move forward towards the study the different concepts of DBMS. So that's it for today.